Congratulations on the film because I fell in love with it when I was watching it. So I was wondering if you could start off by telling us a little bit about how Death to Metal all came about.
Yeah, it's been a project that's been ongoing for quite some time. I think the original draft was written back in 2012, and yeah, I've been in the metal community in the Midwest for a number of years. I was in a band in high school, and I was in a black metal band in my college years that had a little more success, and we did touring here and there, and while I was going to film school in Chicago, Illinois. And, honestly, it just kind of started off as an inside joke. This is my second feature film. My first feature film is a completely different animal. It's like this really serious as a heart attack kind of drama with a sci-fi twist. And coming off of that, I was like, I need to make something that's just a little more frivolous, something that I could watch 20 years down the road and not be sick of. Crack open a beer and enjoy it with some friends, and that whole mentality is kind of went into this little. One part of my history in the metal community, two parts my love for horror, and then just another part just wanting to make something really fun that's the movie knows what it wants to be and is not trying to be anything more than that. It's dumb fun through and through, and I'm not ashamed of that.
Yeah. Is there a stigma about metal and people who are into metal where you are? Because here in Melbourne, now it's a lot more open, but 20, 25 years ago when I was at high school and started to like metal, the teacher's response to that was to send me to the school counselor, to talk to the school counselor. There must have been something wrong with me. Is that stigma something that's there where you are as well? And is that something that you kind of wanted to explore with this film?
Yeah, I live in the Midwest in the United States, and it's in a more conservative part of the country. That's for sure. Especially where I made the film, which is in Iowa. It feels like there's a church almost every block.
Yep.
So certainly growing up, metal was still kind of taboo for a lot of people. Luckily, I had parents that didn't really give a shit what I listened to, whether it was extreme death metal or hip hop or any of that stuff. So I had a very nurturing and home life where they didn't care. But I went to a religious high school, and playing that kind of music or wearing shirts like that definitely didn't fly. And there's always been this kind of stigma that metalheads are a certain type of person, and I wanted to show in the film that touring, doing the touring that I did, playing shows, the whole metal community is as far as music is concerned, is one of the most dedicated. They got your back. Just good people all around that I saw. Even though I loved like this contrast of some of these timid, really nice people, then going on stage and just letting it out,
Yeah.
and just being a completely different person on stage, and I really identified with that as well. Getting to perform on stage as a vocalist, you just get to be a different person, right? You get to put that energy out, and to some extent, Zane, and his kind of plight, and the different person he is on stage versus the person that he is off the stage, is a little autobiographical, I suppose.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about writing the script. Like you said before, you wanted this to kind of be almost a fun horror film, but it does have that serious side to it about the metal community. Was it difficult to combine both of those things when you sat down to work on the script?
Yeah, so the first draft was a little more serious and a little more horror leaning. And I knew though that I really wanted to make sure that this film had comedy elements and was fun front to back. So like kind of the shell of the first script was focusing on all the drama, if you will, like Zane getting kicked out and getting dumped by his girlfriend and all that kind of stuff. And I brought in the co-writer Kevin Kopis, who I'd known for a number of years, to kind of help me out and workshop some of the more funny stuff, because he just had better comedy instincts than I did. So we kind of went back and forth, and I think kind of hit a good balance between the two worlds, the drama, the horror, and the comedy.
And where did the idea first come about for a toxic-driven priest? Where did that idea come from for you?
It was one of those we did with my black metal band Nethervoid back in college. We did like week long tours here and there, nothing super big, and usually it was in the Midwest. And I want to say it started as a joke when we were driving 4 or 5 hours to the next gig, we were just kind of joking around about, oh, that'd be funny to see that play out in movie form. And when I was in film school, I was so focused on the type of stories they were encouraging us to write and produce in film school were very serious stories, right? And that's why I think my first feature was as serious as it was. I was like, well, I have this idea for mutated monster priest that takes on metalheads. Like, why can't this be my next project? Like, why can't I make something that's frivolous and fun and just a good time? And I don't know. Eventually, after writing the script and workshopping it a bunch, and we did an Indiegogo campaign, a crowdfunding campaign to raise money. It seemed like there was a lot of people who were interested in seeing it come to life. So it was encouraging after getting people, letting people know about the project and doing the fundraising for it. So.
Yeah, and how difficult was it to find the right cast for this film? Because I think that's something that really stands up with this film is the cast. How difficult was it to find the right people for the right roles for you?
Yeah, for the main core cast of characters, I used a talent agency that I've worked with before. That's out of they have locations in Chicago, LA, and New York. And we did a bunch of auditions, and it after a while it became very clear that Alex and Grace were my Zane and Mariah, the two leads. The older priest, Dan Flannery, I'd worked with him on 3 different projects prior to this, so I knew I try to get Dan involved in some capacity every time. And then Andrew, who played the pre-transform Father Melton, again through that casting agency. The rest of this film's got a lot of side characters and stuff, and just with the budget we had, which was very, very tiny, the production budget was just above $40,000, which is hardly anything for a 24-day film shoot. I used a lot of non-actors, right? A lot of the people that you're seeing on the screen are local metal musicians, other people that I've known. A really good buddy of mine played the transformed Father Melton, and I've known him since 2013. He owns a local haunted house out here in Iowa, and like that's his main source of income. But I stole him for a summer, and I was like, hey, we're gonna put you in this hot latex get up, for 3 weeks, and you're not gonna get paid anything. So are you cool with that? And he's like, fuck yeah, I am.
Talking of the hot latex get up, how did you make all of that look so good on such a low budget? I know there's going to be a lot of indie filmmakers that listen to our show that's going to wonder, how did you get that to look so good with such a low budget?
Yeah, it was picking Trent, who is the haunted house owner. He owns Dark Chambers here in Iowa. I picked his brain because I knew he knew a lot about masks and high quality latex stuff, just being in the haunt industry. And he suggested, I forget the company off the top of my head, but he suggested a mask maker that is based out of Los Angeles. I want to say that he had bought a few more expensive pieces for his haunt from. And I just linked up with them, and I was like, I need like a mutant basically.
Yep.
Someone that's gotten, dunked in toxic waste, kind of like a Toxic Avenger kind of style thing. And then they kind of gave us the base for the mask, and then from there, we came up with, had a tailor that created the robes, and we kind of, weathered and added gore to the costume itself. And obviously, being, utilizing the camera and making sure that the shots and the lighting were, kind to our get up, you know what I mean? Because like you said, the budget was tiny. The special effects budget, like all in, you include costumes and everything, probably only ended up being like $5,000, and we probably spent at least $1,000 of that on fake blood. So you just got to get thrifty. You got to make sure that you are kind to it when you put stuff in front of the lens, and it's like going back to Jaws, Spielberg, when the shark wasn't working right, they just showed less of the shark, and then it ended up working because then the viewer's imagination just fill in the blank, you know what I mean? So
Yep. Well, mate, it ended up looking absolutely fantastic. I have to congratulate you on how the film has ended up. How do you feel now that the film is about to come out to the public? And what would you like to say to all of our listeners out there before they check the film out for the first time?
Yeah, I'm beyond stoked. It's been such a passion project, and it's taken so long to get to this point. If you think about the first draft to now, that's almost a decade of working on this film, and so many people put their blood, sweat, and tears into this project, and we had such a great time making it, and we've had such a great time on the festival circuit, and starting to see the reviews going up and doing some of the press and stuff. I couldn't be more thrilled to see it going out into the world, and I'm so stoked for December 7th when it hits VOD and digital platforms. And I think if you like campy horror, if you like metal, if you like both of those things especially, you're gonna love this film. There was a festival over in Europe, I think that said they were talking about the film, reviewing it, and they were like trying to think of like where the setting of the film was, right? Because it's not explicitly stated, and they're like, I guess it's like every local metal scene ever,
Yep.
Anywhere, right? And I was like, they get it, and that's what it is. It's a love letter to DIY metal music scenes, and with a little horror romp kind of thrown in the mix. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Well, Tim, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, and we cannot wait to see what you're